Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News on ABS Television. I am Priska Wanko. Anambra State government has moved to put an end to the main erosion threatening parts of Ufuma, Urumba North local government area. The Commissioner for Environment, Engineer Felix Odumegu, announced this shortly after inspecting the erosion site at the community. Correspondent Ngozi Obiliri reports.
Engineer Odumegu said that the Ministry of Environment had town hall meeting with stakeholders in the area at the church and community levels where they were told to go back to the old method of collecting flood water in catchment pits to stop them from creating their own channel, which he said is the major cause of erosion. He charged Ufuma community to encourage their people to dig catchment pits in strategic areas as first step to stop the erosion from escalating, while the government initiates permanent intervention.
We have advocated for the community to develop this agenda of the government of having catchment pits built in their houses. The reason for this is for us to reduce the rainwater that flows out of people's houses, so as to reduce the impact of such rainwater on our roads.
On his part, the Commissioner for Works, Engineer Ifeanyi Okooma, who went on the visit with the Commissioner for Environment, said the situation is still within what Anambra State government can handle, but appealed to residents of the state to be part of the solution in ensuring that erosion menace is reduced to its barest minimum. Engineer Okooma re-emphasized need for catchment pits in various communities as well as need for proper waste disposal and other acts that can aid the governor to achieve the green, livable and prosperous Anambra of his dream.
It's something that we can handle depending on the availability of funds. We've actually told them that one of the things they do is to reduce the amount of flood water that gets there by providing catchment pits within their compound so that water doesn't flow out. If they do this, it will reduce the impact of the flood water on the soil and then reduce the erosion.
One of the cabinet members of Ufuma Traditional Stool, Chief Godwin Uchime, who appreciated Governor Soludo for the prompt response, regretted that the erosion was increasing by day, which was why they called the government's attention, promising to adhere to the instructions given to them.
We are happy. We are not expecting them until they called, and we are very happy. Actually, what caused this thing was that when they were building this road, there are some channels created by the village and even the local government. They contracted them, demolished everything, and channeled the whole water to this road.
From Ufuma, in Urumba North local government area, I am Ngozi Obiliri for ABS News.
To enhance capacity of the State Fire Service to respond to fire outbreaks and other emergencies promptly, the Anambra State government has procured additional firefighting equipment for the State Fire Service. Joseph Ewocha filed this report taken from here.
The items are 300 delivering hose, 20 inline inductor, 100 hand control branch, 20 foam making branch, 50 insulated fireman axe, 200 fire redundant coverall, 200 safety boots, 200 crash helmets, 60 complete set of standard fire suits, and 100 drums of chemical foam compound. Speaking after inspecting the items at the State Fire Service Office in Awka, the State Commissioner for Power and Water Resources, Engineer Julius Chukwuemeka, said the modern equipment will, among other benefits, ensure safety of firefighters, whom he explained has been trained on how to use the modern equipment for greater efficiency. Commissioner Chukwuemeka reiterated the commitment of Soludo administration to ensure safety and security of Anambra at all times and to work with relevant stakeholders to achieve set objectives.
It starts from the PPE, which they will use to protect themselves during the firefighting, then to the equipment that they will use during firefighting, as well as the chemical compounds which they will use, in extinguishing the fire.
In his remarks, the State Fire Chief, Engineer Martin Abule, who thanked Governor Soludo for his support to his department, said the items will help firefighters in no small measures. He advised people to avoid things that could cause fire outbreaks at homes, markets, and other important places, and to avoid things that cause obstruction during emergencies.
Fireman Axe, delivery hose, and the rest of them, even the chemical foam compound. In fact, the chemical foam compound, what we witness in Anambra is always falling tanker, petrol tanker, and that is what we use every now and then to fight the fire. So I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Governor for doing this.
On quality of the procured items, Chief Charles Nchezo, on behalf of the purchasing firm, said quality is guaranteed. Director General of Strategy, Excursion and Evaluation, Office of the Governor, Mr. Emma Onyilofo, said measures will be put in place to ensure that results are achieved with the equipment, adding that the Soludo administration is determined to end an era of fire stations without necessary equipment. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Power and Water Resources, Mrs. Ifeyinwa Uzoka, was part of the team that inspected the items, as well as other equipment being refurbished at the State Fire Office.
Director and Chief Executive Officer of Anambra Medical Oxygen Production Plant, Mrs. Wamaka Arinze, says that she will do everything humanly possible to ensure that Anambra benefits maximally from the plant. Mrs. Arinze gave this assurance when members of the Anambra State House of Assembly Committee on Health paid her a familiarization visit in her office at the Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University Teaching Hospital, Amako, Oka. Health correspondent Chibuzo Okoye reports.
Mrs. Arinze, who revealed that she was one of the people that conceptualized the idea of building the plant during the immediate past administration in the state, said that she will do everything possible to ensure that Anambra benefit from the plant. She noted that the federal government has set up a national policy to ensure that Nigeria achieves sustainable development goals, of which oxygen plant is a critical component of, and thanked Governor Chukwuma Soludo for giving her the opportunity to serve. The MD appealed to the members of the House of Assembly to make laws that will make hospitals in Anambra to always have enough oxygen in their hospitals in order to end occurrences of avoidable deaths in the state, and disclosed that the plant is now in full operation to serve the Anambra better.
Because there was no available oxygen to sustain her to the hospital. So after our morning moment, me and Dr. B, they came up with the idea of suggesting that Anambra State government build an oxygen plant. And to the glory of God, that we are able to ratify the machine, test run it. The machine is running even to the purity of 98.4%.
Earlier, the chairman of the committee, Dr. Kata Umoduagu, said that the familiarization visit was important for them to interface with the new MD, and expressed optimism that Mrs. Arinze will deliver because of her passion for the job. Honorable Umoduagu, however, regretted that the former managing director of the plant has refused to leave office for Mrs. Arinze to work seamlessly, and called on Governor Soludo to immediately call the former MD to order.
When you talk about oxygen plant, what is the raw material? It's just air. As far as I know, it's air. So it doesn't take anything in making the place to be at a standard as it should be. Because this is part of something that will be enviable in Anambra State when you're talking about development. And also part of the internally generated revenue of the state.
A member of the committee and member representing Nchikoka 1 constituency, Timothy Ifediorama, also assured that the House will support Mrs. Arinze to succeed, and expressed dissatisfaction about factors depriving the new MD of the plant to assume office fully, which he said made the committee members to be stranded when they arrived at the facility.
This is the engine room or life wire of many lives. In advanced country, this is not even a discussion because it's all over everywhere. Us here as a developing country and developing state, we need this. It's very key and important.
While Honorable Onyebushofor, representing Ekwusigo constituency, who is also a member of the team, said that Mrs. Arinze has all it takes to deliver, and described the action of the past MD of the plant as condemnable. From Anambra State Medical Oxygen Production Plant, Amakwaka, this is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
Anambra State government has continued to enforce its ban on touts, commonly known as agberos, and their activities in Anambra State. In a recent raid carried out by a crack team of Ocha Brigade at Opiweka and Obosi areas of Anambra State, 25 touts were arrested. A release signed by the Commissioner for Information, Sir Paul Nwosu, stated that government has repeatedly restated that agberos have been banned in Anambra State because it does not provide a sustainable means of livelihood and it encourages antisocial behaviors that are incompatible with a livable and pleasurable new Anambra State. He said the government had offered to provide agberos with employment, but they must first of all go and register their names and phone numbers with the respective local government areas. He said that the Ocha Brigade commander has disclosed that his men will ramp up their enforcement in days ahead, since these touts have refused to accept the olive branch extended to them by the government. The Anambra State Police Command has arrested 3 suspected members of indigenous members of Biafra IPOB and Eastern Security Network ESN. Queen and Wogo reports that the suspects are Hyacinth Uguka from Enugu, Sunday Emmanuel Aben from Akwa Ibom, and Chinonso Ofo from Enugu State were paraded at the command headquarters in Amobia. Details of this report from here.
Briefing the press, the Anambra State Commissioner of Police, Echen, said on the 27th of this month, its operatives were on stop and search duty at Afonobi Road, intercepted 2 vehicles, one unmarked brown Jeep and a black Prado Jeep with registration number GWA 696CM Abuja. He said the occupants of the vehicles, who refused to stop when police flagged them down, started shooting sporadically to escape police search. CP Echen added that the operatives engaged the army men in a gun battle, rescued one of their victims, and arrested 3 of the gang members, whom he said are in police custody, helping the police in investigations, while others escaped from the scene. According to the police commissioner, items recovered from the suspects include 3 AK-47, 2 cell phones, 2 bulletproof vests, 2 walkie-talkie, 1 police uniform, camouflage, 4 AK-47 magazine, 120 live ammunition, 1 police belt, 1 hand glove, a pair of police boots, 2 police caps, 1 military t-shirt, and 1 blue police uniform.
Today, updates on achievement recorded by the command in synergy with the military and other security agencies in the state in the fight against crime and criminalities. Our mission with the military and other security organizations have been to stabilize the security situation in the state. On that, we have made significant progress in reducing crime rate and ensuring a sustainable peace for the security and safety of citizens in the state.
In their separate reactions, the suspects, Hyacinth Uguaka and Chinonso Ofo, confirmed they are members of ESN and IPOB operating from Isochi, Abia State, and that the items found on them were given to them by their commander. They also mentioned their various camps and hideouts and how they roam around kidnapping unsuspecting members of the public before they met their Waterloo. The victim, a university lecturer who refused to be identified, recounted his ordeal in the hands of kidnappers and disclosed that he was kidnapped between the hours of 5 and 6 p.m. on the said day.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, says 947,000 candidates filed for the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME in the last 2 days. Princess Ekwi Ajide of Abuja Bureau has the details.
The head public affairs and protocol of JAMB, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, who stated this after monitoring the ongoing UTME alongside the registrar, Professor Isiaq Oleyode, and others in Abuja, pledged that every candidate who registered for the exam will be given opportunity to take part in the exercise, as the board had resolved all technical hitches experienced on the first day of the UTME in some centers. He described it as the best exam they have had over a period of time, in spite of what happened on Tuesday, stating that the first day is always turbulent but stabilizes as the exercise progresses. Fabian recalled that on the first day, some candidates were unable to sit for the examination because of technical issues and JAMB rescheduled them. He urged candidates who could not sit for the examination on the first day to continue to check their profile and print their slips, as the examination had been rescheduled, adding that the management will announce the results of the examination soon.
Turbulent, and then as we progress, we stabilize and we continue the exercise. And one assurance I want to give Nigerians is that for every candidate that have registered for this examination, he or she will certainly be given the opportunity to take this examination. On the first day, there were some candidates that were not able to sit the examination because of some technical issues, and we have rescheduled those candidates. Some of them are taking it as we speak in the fourth session, and some will also take tomorrow. So we also urge candidates, particularly those who could not sit for yesterday's exercise, to continue to check their profile, to print their slip, as they will be rescheduled to take the examination.
The 2023 UTME, which commenced on Tuesday, is expected to end on May 3rd with a total of 1.6 million registered candidates. In Abuja, Princess Ekwe Ajide reporting.
Saudi Arabia and Iran will reopen embassies in each other's capital within days, Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian has said in a sign of warming relations after the two countries closed their mission 7 years ago. Speaking at a news conference in the Lebanese capital, Beirut, Amir-Abdollahian did not give specific dates for the reopening of the embassies, which closed in 2016. The two countries reached an agreement in China earlier last month to re-establish diplomatic relations and reopen embassies after 7 years of tensions. The relationship started deteriorating in 2015 following the intervention of the Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates in the Yemen war, after the Iran-aligned Houthi movement toppled the Riyadh-backed government and seized control of the capital, Sana'a. Tensions between the countries has led to conflicts across the region, including the Syrian civil war. Amir-Abdollahian was speaking at the end of his visit to Lebanon, where he met with Lebanese officials, including Hezbollah leader Saeed Hassan Nasrallah. The Iranian foreign minister confirmed President Ibrahim Raisi would visit Syria in the near future, without providing details. The visit would be the fourth by an Iranian president to Syrian President Bashir al-Assad since war broke out in Syria in 2011. Qatar was named host of the 2027 Men's Basketball World Cup, burgeoning its reputation for staging major global sports events. Germany will hold the women's version in 2026. Basketball's governing body, FIBA, made this known. Qatar hosted the Men's Football World Cup in November-December and will now stage basketball showpiece tournament for the first time. All matches will be held at the 16 venues in the capital, Doha. There is this adage in Igbo land which says that one's in-law is his God. This came to bear when Chief Aloysius Muamara paid a condolence visit to his in-law's house during the burial ceremony of the late Mrs. Celine Edokam. Staff reporter Mengini Osadebe will cover the event. Reports that the remains of the late Mrs. Celine Edokam have been buried at her compound's house, Okuru Mesuha village, Ozuakali, in Idato local government area of Imo State. Details of this report from here.
There was skeletal activities by the women group of the village at the compound as they accord their member her final burial rites, while some men of the village were also seated to receive those coming for condolence visits. The arrival of Muamara family, led by Chief Aloysius Muamara and his wife, Mrs. Odnaka Muamara, changed the atmosphere of the event. In his condolence message to the family, Chief Muamara described the late Mrs. Celine Edokam as a mother to all, saying that they are all mourning their mother who has gone to rest with the Lord. He described death as an inevitable end for every mortal, pointing out that late Mrs. Celine Edokam lived a good life, adding that he gained a lot from her wise advice when he came to marry her daughter and prayed God to grant her soul eternal rest.
Nji se na mma akwu ya na ndụ maka ọ na-efe ka m ezigbo nne ka ọ bụ nne kwesịrị nṅomi. And ka ọ na-akwado ịnwụ n'ofu ọnwa ọkpọ nsị m bịa unu mbi unu ọsị m na ya abịala m ụwa nsị ya mbadụ ma ụmụ ụmụ ga-abịa ụwa
ọsọ m mechie ọnụ na mba ọba mmụọ mere nkwe. A month later, 4 days later, o ji gwacha m okwu. Ezie m bịa na arụ adịghị ya mgbe m na-abịa ọ bụrụ na ọnwụgo. Nwunye m amụọ nwa ahụ ọ bụrụ ụmụ anyị.
In their separate interviews, the daughters of the deceased, Mrs. Gozie Mdike, Mrs. Odnaka Momara, and Mrs. Chinwendu Onyebula, described their mother as a peace-loving, industrious, and undependable woman who believed so much on her strength to provide for her family needs, saying that they will miss her so much and promised to keep her legacy afloat.
Nkwa na-ekwu ya bụ na ya bụ mkpụrụ ọma dosara anyị nwa bụ ụmụ ya na anyị ga-continue from where she stopped. Because ọ bụ mmadụ na-adị alike a na-ekwu gara ịchọ ibilisi n'osubuda ndị iro ya n'onu anyị.
Mama's eldest son, Mr. Chinedu Edokam, and her daughter-in-law, Mrs. Chioma Edokam, noted that their mother led an exemplary life worthy of emulation, saying that she was exceptionally good to all of them and prayed God to grant her soul perfect rest.
Now, the same love she extends to all of us, and we continue from there. That Ogora Prai, Udo di Hiara Prai, Udo Yadekwa after her.
An uncle to the family, Mr. Emmanuel Onyefolo, and late Mama Edokam's sister, Mrs. Mary Onyewufo, said the death of the late Mrs. Celine Edokam has created a great vacuum in the family due to her wise counsel and advice, calling on the children to remain united as their mother has taught them. Some of their guests, including Chief Osita Iharo Furonye, Mrs. Ifeoma Okeke, and Mr. Izuchukwu Anyade, who condoled the Edokam family over the loss of their mother, advised them not to weep like those without hope, while praying God to grant them the fortitude to bear the loss. High points of the event were danced by the Umuadas, the children, and condolence visits to the family by various groups. From Urala, Imo State, Emengino Sadebe, ABS News.
You can follow news and programs on ABS in many parts of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube page at youtube.com/ABS Television and on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. To end the news this morning, a recap of the main points. Anambra State government has urged communities to support efforts towards erosion prevention and control. Anambra State Assembly Committee on Health has visited state medical oxygen production plants in Awka. And away from that, JAMB has promised prompt release of UTME results. Saudi Arabia, Iran are to reopen embassies in each other's capital soon. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that ends the breakfast news at this time on ABS Television. Thanks for watching. I am Priska Wanko. Good afternoon and happy Sunday.